Hello, I'm Madison Gonzalez. I am currently in my developing teaching semester at U of H, and I am getting certified in EC through 6 general education and EC through 12 special education. I am interested in teaching early elementary education more so than high school. Either life skills or a behavioral class I haven't really decided or shown more interest towards one than the other. I realized that I wanted to teach this when I was in high school, actually. I was in a program called PALS. So I would go to my assigned elementary school for one period out of the day and spend time with my assigned class. I got assigned the life skills class there, and I immediately knew that this was what I would want to teach. I always knew that I wanted to become a teacher. I just never really knew what grade or a certain subject or anything until I walked into that life skills class. When I walked into that class, I immediately knew that this was what I was meant for. It's just such a warm and welcoming, heartfelt environment in there, and it's amazing to be in there. I currently only fluently speak one language, English. A lot of my family is from Mexico, but unfortunately I never really picked up on Spanish. My dad is Hispanic and he would speak Spanish throughout the house. I don't know why I never picked up on it. I can understand some, but I can't really hold a full conversation with someone. I'm definitely more so of a listener than conversing. I've taken multiple years of Spanish class through school. So I took 1 year in middle school, 2 in high school, and then I took a class in college. And in middle and high school, I only had the choice of Spanish, Latin, German, or Chinese. And I felt like Spanish would just be the most beneficial to learn, especially considering my family and being located where we are with such a large Hispanic population. Since I learned most of what I know through school, it is proper Spanish, therefore I would get confused if trying to communicate with my family. And my dad is from Mexico, so if I would ask him for homework help or anything, he would often get confused trying to help me because the grammar is so proper and it's just not how he had learned Spanish. So even though I did take those classes, I feel like a lot of it hasn't really helped that much. So even though I'm not a fluent Spanish speaker, I do still consider myself largely involved with my Hispanic culture. I often hang out with my Hispanic side, which is why I consider myself largely involved. My mom's from here and she has a sister and her parents, and that's as much as my Caucasian side goes, but my Hispanic side is very large over here, so if one person's not doing something that weekend, then you know the other person is. I have a bunch of aunts, uncles, cousins down here. We celebrate a lot of the Hispanic holidays, Cinco de Mayo, all that stuff. So just everything that we do is really, Hispanic culture based. In order to achieve a second language, I believe that practice and consistency is key. Without practice and consistency, it will be easy, especially for me, to lose everything about that language. I do feel like that's why Spanish has been hard for me to catch on to, even though my dad did speak it a lot. My mom spoke English to me, and my mom would be the one who picked me up from school and stuff, and I did spend a lot more of my time with my mom. So I feel like since I didn't practice Spanish as much as I practiced English, it was just easy for it not to be a priority in my head. So that's why I think practicing consistency is the most important when learning a new language. The role that I believe the teacher will play in my involvement as a student learning a second language will just be assuring that I'm practicing that language and making sure that they're holding me accountable, that I'm doing everything that I can to learn more and more about that language. During this course, I'm actually interested in learning sign language. I'm not proficient in it at all. I don't really know anything about it. I chose sign language because I know that it is used in a lot of special education classrooms. So when I was in that life skills class, I noticed a lot of signs were used, especially a lot of the kids with autism who weren't verbal yet. They were working with SLPs and they were definitely getting closer to becoming more verbal, but a lot of them would use universal signs from sign language. So like water, restroom, no more, no thank you, things like that was like a universal sign to them that they all knew, and it was easier for them to perform than having the task of actually having to speak it. So I feel like learning sign language will help me become a better teacher.